Hello, great ones. Welcome to the relaunching of my YouTube channel. I just completed season one during the whole pandemic of the Living Be Great podcast, and I am transferring all the episodes over to my YouTube so that my new YouTube audience gets a dose of what my content is about. Please like, share, and subscribe, and enjoy the show. Hello, great ones. Welcome to the Live and Be Great podcast. I'm your host, Latonya Sampson-McDonald. I am a life coach and a registered marriage and family therapist associate. And this podcast was created to motivate, educate, and inspire all to live and be great. On today's episode, I wanted to introduce a very special person in my life. She's my best friend. She's my sorority sister, my line sister, my confidant, I should say. She's amazing, and she has an amazing story that continues to inspire me. And I wanted to share her experiences in life, some trials and tribulations, and I wanted her to talk about what is keeping her going, especially now, in 2021, when we're all facing hardship and despair and tragedy and loss. I wanted to bring her on so you guys can hear from her, and hopefully you'll be inspired just as much as I am by her. Okay. Her name is Takima Bly. Say hello to everybody.
Hello, Latanya. Thank you for having me. I am excited to be a part of Live and Be Great and share my experiences in holistic healing and be a part of bringing more awareness to holistic healing. Because the more that I talk about it, the more I realize that there are actually a lot of people who are interested in it, who have been researching in it, and who have their own experiences and journeys in holistic healing and different techniques and methods of holistic healing.
Yes. So that is definitely something we do want to touch on because, as we know, you have many gifts and many talents, and you be doing the most. So don't think that that's just because she started off with that, that's the only thing that she does. And she's not about to sell herself short because yeah, she be doing a lot. And I just don't understand. She has a husband and a whole kid on top of that. So
I know.
um I want to say some of the things that inspire me. Before we touch on the rest of the things that you do besides the holistic healing, um, I would say is your journey with um basically the body, right? And constantly being in and out of the hospital, going through surgeries, and like you guys, she's very small, like she's tiny. But that little person be, oh my goodness, has been through so much. So talk about, some of the things that you have suffered from in the past, continue to suffer from, um, that is part of your story.
So let's back it to where we at 2021. Let's back it to 2019. Um, I want to say around maybe the summer, fall of 2019. I started to notice like a shift in my health. Um, like like my health was already crappy anyway. I have endometriosis and had an adenomyosis, and also have severe allergies, which most people think that, oh, I suffer from allergies too, take you few allergy meds, blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, for people who have severe allergies, you guys know what I'm talking about. Like when you have to watch what you eat, watch what you drink, you can't go outdoors at certain times, allergic to grass, trees. Those people, what I'm talking about. Certain materials or scents affect you in addition to all of that. Pre-diabetic. So I started to notice that my health was just like plummeting um, around the summer fall of 2019,
Mhm.
and then that started to affect my emotional health, because endometriosis and adenomyosis, there was a surplus of like an excess of hormones in my system. So therefore, that uh, that pushed like an imbalance, um, so that I had to take antidepressants to balance me out because there was too many hormones in my system. So therefore, like I was off balance in that area because of my reproductive system. I was in overdrive. And then, like Tanya said, I'm 5'2". I spent most of my life being like petite. But because of endometriosis, adenomyosis, and then I was put on birth control to control those two things. My body never accepted the birth control. I never adjusted it. I never accepted it. It rejected it the whole time. And so that caused weight gain, um, which uh, my body, um, which was not used, my body was not used to having. So like it was like a side effect. So I got like all the side effects of the birth control. Trying to control endometriosis and adenomyosis, I got all the side effects of the birth control, trying to control those two things. Um, like all these crazy side effects started happening. My iron levels dropped. It's just all this crazy stuff. And I just felt like shit. And I didn't like it. I did not like feeling like that, because I'm too busy to feel that way. When you have multiple jobs and a family, you don't have time to feel like shit.
Mhm.
I'm like, I don't have time to feel like this. I don't have time to mope around. I don't have time for depression. I don't have time for anxiety. I have stuff to do. And I'm in a master's program. I'm still in school. I'm like, I have homework.
Mhm.
I was commuting at that time because this was right before the pandemic. I was commuting an hour and 15 minutes every day to go to work because I live in Georgia. I worked in South Carolina, in a school district. So I had to commute every day to go to work. So I would go to work, come pick up my daughter, come home, parenting, then waiting for my husband to come home, so that he could make sure everything was fine with my child. By that time, it was her bedtime, but she's a night owl. So he still has to make sure she's not getting up and down, get out of the bed, ask for this, that, and the other. And I still have to do homework at the end of the day. So I'm still up all hours of the night, and then still have to wake back up early, do it all over again. And in between the time, I have a media company. So I'm like hosting podcasts. I'm like doing all these writing. I'm writing books. I'm writing scripts, all this good stuff, and dealing with the fact that my health feels like crap.
Mhm.
Um, and so I'm like, there has to be something. I have to do something about this. I have to do something because I started feeling like I'm going crazy, and I didn't like it. I started feeling like there was this dark cloud over me, and I'm like, there has to be something that I can do. There was this holistic shop that I that's near my house that I would go to buy crystals. Yes, I'm a crystals person.
Yes.
um, the way I look at it as, and people have their own opinions about it. Um, call it what you want to. People are like, oh, well, they're just rocks. You're right, but guess what? God made them. God made them. Um, and I feel like that God gave us everything on the planet that we need to help heal ourselves. And for me, having these little crystal stones and healing stones around my house helped me feel better. So I often went to the little holistic shop by my house getting crystals just to keep around my house to kind of help me feel better and balance out the mood in my home. And the lady there, she was a Reiki practitioner, and I would ask her about it and talk to her about it to try to learn more about that. And um, we had conversations about chakra energy and auras and all that stuff. And I've always been sensitive to people's auras. And one day I was just like, she uh, she said that she was teaching training other people. She's like, why don't you just come and since you're interested in it, and I guarantee that you would like it. Like, I'm training other people to be Reiki practitioners, and I'm glad that I did, because it was just something that just kept sticking out in my mind that I wanted to do. And I was just like, you know what, I'm going to do it. So I went to the training, and it was just like, it was one of the like most calming, peaceful experiences that I had. It was We meditated, which was just peaceful. Because her shop, like I said, she owns a holistic shop. We did the training there, so her shop is already very calming. Aromatherapy is set with essential oils. She has crystals everywhere. She smudged everybody with sage before we came in. We did a lot of meditating um, to cleanse our auras, to kind of cleanse our chakras, and then cleansing our auras and sending healing energy with the Reiki and meditation. And I feel like that helped balance me out. Just knowing that um, my chakras were that off balance. And I feel like that is something that kind of kept me floating
Mm-hmm.
because I was just really off balance for a while. And that helped me stay afloat. And from that training, I got certified with level one. And my next level will be certified master Reiki practitioner. So that's hopefully that's this year, but pandemic stuff. But I would like to say that it was very calming for me to be able to receive and give Reiki energy to balance my chakras, because I know I was very off balance, and it helped me because I knew I was off balance. I knew something was wrong. Um, and that helped me. For people who don't know, um, I'm going to read something. Auras are a beautiful field over ever changing energy patterns that completely surrounds all living things. Um, and then each chakra corresponds with a layer of the aura. And then negative feelings or thoughts, they can get stuck within your chakra. And then that's what causes people to be off balance. And sometimes people, when they just feel like when they're off or like something is wrong, I just feel like blah. And you can't really pinpoint when you just feel like that. It's probably because one of your chakras are blocked or your aura is cloudy and something is blocked. And Reiki can help with that. Reiki energy can help you to get back in balance. And you're probably sitting there like, well, what is Reiki? What is this word? What does that mean? Um, and let me start off by saying, because I know somebody in their mind is like, that's witchcraft. No, it's
Mhm.
not. It's not witchcraft. And it's not magic either.
Mhm.
It's not witchcraft. It's not magic. It's not sorcery. It's healing energy. If you want to somehow maybe make sense of it in your mind, think of it as healing energy like prayer. Um, Reiki is something that you can do over distance. You can do it right next to somebody. Don't you pray for people when you want them to feel better, when you want them to get a new job, when they are getting married, when they're having a baby, when they feel sad, when they, want to pass a test,
Mhm.
when they want to win a game, anything like that, where I'm going to pray for you, pray for me. Reiki is the energy like that. It's healing energy, it's positive energy. It can do no wrong. It can't hurt anybody. It's
Mhm.
never hurted anybody. And if you don't want to receive positive healing energy, you don't have to. You could say, no, fine. But it's never hurt anyone ever at all. It's just healing energy, just like prayer. People can pray for you, people can send you positive healing Reiki energy. And I, for one, can tell you that it's helped me to balance myself out a lot. And it's just positive energy set out into the world. And it's not even tied to any one particular religion. So it doesn't matter if you're Buddhist, Christian, Muslim, just like you can pray for anybody in any religion, um, you can send Reiki energy for being a part of any religion. Anybody that I have um, done Reiki with has had positive experiences. I've not had any negative experiences with anybody. Um, from people that I have talked to had experiences with going to different Reiki practitioners that they know about, that has done it with me. I've had nothing but positive feedback about it. I've had nothing but good experiences about it. People have had their own experiences, but I've heard nothing but positive things about it. I would highly recommend it. And sometimes even when you don't feel off balance, sometimes it's just good to have it there to help you meditate. It kind of um, enriches your meditation just to have that extra positive energy there. It helps you focus a little bit better. It just kind of boosts your mood and your energy that much more.
Yes,
It's like,
it
so why wouldn't
definitely
you
does.
why wouldn't why wouldn't you want to be your best self? You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Like, why wouldn't you want to be your best self at this point? People can, a lot of people infuse their crystals with Reiki energy. Like, I mean, I know I do.
Mhm.
Like, why not? It's positive energy. Why not put more positive energy out in the world when you can? And the thing is, my residency counseling class that I had over the summer, there was another Reiki practitioner in there, and there was some other students in the class who were interested in Reiki also. And so we would have Zoom meetings together with other students that wanted to know about it. They're like, hey, we heard about this, before, and we kind of want to, we're interested in it. Like, what is it? Because if it's a part of helping people, we want to meet people where they're at, because at at this point in time, a lot more people are interested in holistic healing. And if counselors can offer a wide range of healing, um, and if they don't want just traditional type of healing in counseling arena, if they like holistic healing and we can offer that as well, why not? And so me and the other Reiki practitioner would hold Zoom meetings to talk to them about it. and then do like a distance Reiki with them so that they could get the experience of it. And then they have positive experiences about it so that they could be like, okay, this is a thing. This is real. I like this. I want to do more of this. I might want to incorporate this. I might want to learn Reiki. And so I feel like that's progressive to know that people in the counseling profession are accepting of it, to know that this is something that they would want to incorporate into their own counseling practices. To
Mm-hmm.
say, if I feel like this is something that's going to help people and reach people that I can do in addition to, like, why not do this in addition to help people if it's going to help somebody? Like,
Yes,
why not?
and that is definitely a beautiful, beautiful point, and I'm very happy that it has for sure helped you, and that you allowed yourself to look at something different. Um, I'm pretty sure they have a pretty good idea of what Reiki is, but it's really hard to explain if you don't like test it out yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So I would definitely, just like Takima said, definitely be open to it if you're interested in it, and try it out for yourself to see if it, can
Mm-hmm.
be of support and benefit to your life. I also, want to keep to touch on the fact that number one, she is a Black woman, right? So there are a lot of misconceptions about therapy when it comes to really all people of color. But taking it an extra step and talking about Reiki, there might be like, oh, wait a minute. So I'm happy she said that it's not witchcraft, because it is not. And if you don't want to accept positive energy and healing, you do not have to, right? But I want
Exactly.
you to tell them, because, some people, they often don't get that background story as to what shifted your mind, because a lot of us did grow up in a very religious household, right? To where they
Mm-hmm.
didn't really, believe therapy or trust it, or they may have had experiences with therapists that didn't take in their cultural and racial trauma experience into that therapy room, so they had a bad experience, or so talk a little bit about what helped you break through those barriers mentally, when you decided to go into therapy and healing.
I want to say I have always been a bit culturally aware. I guess by being Black, I don't really have a choice but to be culturally aware. And not only being Black, my best friend is Mexican, number one. So there's that.
Mhm.
Um, and then my hometown uh, is in a small country town. My high school was like half and half, was like half Black and then half white. So I grew up having a lot of white friends. So I've kind of like got a broad spectrum of a wide range of people. And then I went to an HBCU. So I have no excuse not to understand people of different cultures.
Mhm.
I have no excuse to not do that. So I've always been accepting and open to learning and to understanding people of different backgrounds and not being rigid and holding on to one standard of everything.
Mhm.
And that's hard when there are a lot of people that are.
Mhm.
Um, and even people that I know. I um, actually had a old coworker of mine who said that she didn't believe in the use of sage because she heard that it was witchcraft and she's Black. And it's like, who told you that? Because she's very religious in Christian faith. It's like, who told you that? Christianity. Christianity was a tool that was used to keep Black people in bondage.
Mhm.
Um, I do not frown upon anybody for Christian values and principles. I myself was baptized, but I have to acknowledge the fact of why Black people are in the religion of Christianity in the first place.
Mhm.
And see, I'm in the one to say, if you heard this about a certain thing and somebody tells you that that's false, I'm going to find out where to get the knowledge from.
Mhm.
And so when she said that, and I told her like, no, that's not what that is. And she's like, oh, well, I need to research that more. And I was like, okay, I know where to find information from. So another old coworker of mine I know is Native American. She's a Sioux.
Mhm.
And I sent her a message and I was just like, do you have any information on the use of smudging with sage? Because so and so that we worked with said that it was witchcraft, and we know that that's not true at all.
Mhm.
So can you give me a link or a place to get of information that I can give to her to let her know that that is false information? And she was like, sure, here. And she gave me like this link to a pamphlet um, that this Native American organization put together about smudging and the use of sage. I actually still have it. And I sent that to her. And I was just like, here, this is from the this Native American tribe. And this is uh, how they describe the history of smudging and saging and what it's for. And it's really rooted in prayer and rooted in protection. And I said nothing about this is anything about evil and witchcraft. And like she had nothing else to say about it.
Mm.
And which I'm still pretty sure she still feels like it's somehow rooted in witchcraft and slavery, even though the information is like right there in your face, right there. But I'm still pretty sure she's still holding on to the fact that it's witchcraft, even though it says right here in front of your face what it's for.
Mhm. Yes, I definitely, um I feel the same way about doing your research on things because it can't just be when you look at most religions, they usually say a lot of the same things. Basically, be a good person and be nice to people, Um, but the religious aspect, and these are just my personal thoughts, like the religious aspect is just a form of control. So I would advise anybody, whether you're Christian, Buddhist, Muslim, to have your personal relationship with that higher power. It don't just depend on what somebody's telling you or
Mm-hmm.
what people try to shy you away from. Like, do the
Mm-hmm.
research and search
Mm-hmm.
for your own divine connection to whatever you believe in, whatever it is. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't look down on any other cultures. I may not practice everything, but I feel like, as long as you're a good person, I'm rocking with you. And the need to have all different aspects of support. So I gotta bring Kima back because she went straight to the spiritual part, but how did like the therapy? You see what I'm saying? Like you're a therapist. And yes, we need a lot more therapists that are culturally competent, not only therapists that look like you. If you're a person of color, if you're a black person, black female, black
Mm-hmm.
male, transgender, whatever the case may be, we need more of that. But I want to back you up a little bit and talk about how you even broke past that barrier to be like, okay, I want to help people mentally versus the, oh, just pray about it situation.
um, I I want to kind of talk about, I guess it really clicked with me with one of my professors at Savannah State, Dr. Johannes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Although I knew I wanted to do something in the psychology and mental health field, um, as a part of going to Savannah State, I'm like, I know that there's a need for it. I want to be, I want to do this, but I don't think the cultural aspect hit me until his class.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that's when that part of it kicked in.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I knew, um, that I wanted to be that. Especially like watching Law and Order. Um, Wong, I loved him. He was my
Mm-hmm.
favorite.
Mm-hmm.
And I like his job. He was good at that. He was a psychological profiler.
Mm-hmm.
And I found it really fascinating the way he could psychologically analyze people.
Mm-hmm.
And he was really good at reading people. And I liked that. And I always felt like it was important to understand people and why they're the way that they are.
Mm-hmm.
Why is somebody doing what they're doing?
Mm-hmm.
They didn't get that way overnight. And if you can understand why somebody is doing something, that kind of helps you understand who they are. Um, and it kind of helps you predict like behavior patterns
Mm-hmm.
within them. And then that kind of helps you see what the needs of that person is.
Mm-hmm.
And then the cultural aspect came with Dr. Johannes. Rest in peace to him.
Mm-hmm.
But he brought it to us in the fact that within the field of psychology, you have you have psychology, you have counseling, you have behavior analysis, you have neuroscience.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, oh, and you have social work.
Mm-hmm.
And the percentage of Black people in all of those things are relatively small. And the percentage of the professional Black people in those fields are small compared to the people that are getting those services.
Mm-hmm.
So think about all the Black people that have mental health needs compared to the actual Black people who are giving the services to them, the service providers of the people who need the services.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what made me, and that's kind of something that clicked with me. Like, we need more help than people who are giving the help to us. And it was disproportionate. And that's what made me go like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
there is something off with that.
Mm-hmm.
Because even with Savannah State, they gave the behavior analysis program with a minor in psychology, but they wouldn't give a major in psychology to Savannah State. They gave the major in psychology to Armstrong.
Mm. Wow.
Yeah.
Mm.
And he said that he even fought for Savannah State to have a major in psychology program, but he
Mm-hmm.
couldn't get it there. But that's fine because you could still get with the behavior analysis program, you had enough content and programs that you could still get a master's in it, but you cannot get a bachelor's in it. But it's like things that make you go, And so I'm like, I have to stick with this.
Mm-hmm.
And then even, working in mental health um, as an adult, running into clients who are Black and being like, they're happy to find somebody that they can relate to, that they can talk to.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, okay, and then being like, well, you Black, so you know what I'm saying, like,
Yes.
like having clients that have sons And especially with last year happening and all the protests and police brutality and that weighing on their mental health, they're like, you understand what I'm going through,
Mm-hmm.
because that's a mental health issue that only Black people will understand. A white person can be sensitive to it to say, I know that's an issue for you, but they will never know what it truly feels like.
Mm-hmm.
And so for them to have a therapist to identify that same emotion, that means so much more to them, because they feel like, because then they don't really have to explain themselves. It's more saying, you know what I mean, instead of them having to like break it down even further. It's like, oh, you know what I'm saying? It's like a commonality there. So they don't have to replay that ugly scenario in their head, but just to say, this is a fear of mine because of my son, instead of having to break down that fear and keep processing it. It's like, I know why that would upset you. I
Mm-hmm.
already got it.
Yeah, it's definitely 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 needed. And I think when people, say, "Oh, therapy is only for white people," or whatever the case may be, actually, I feel like
Mm-mm.
us people that are oppressed actually need it
Mm-mm.
more than than
Mm-hmm.
people that are not
Mm-hmm.
oppressed. When it comes to their own psychological trauma, not just our sons, but definitely our daughters. I don't know if you guys noticed, but in the beginning, I told you that chemo does a whole bunch of things. Okay. So, the cycle that we have to go through is, the separation of the black household, which is why, I feel like it's the leading cause of a lot of trauma and continued struggle in the black community. The breakdown of the black man, and then just putting everything on the black woman's back to just take. The dehumanization of our people, uh, the constant tear down and oppressive nature in the systems that are supposed to protect and serve us. It affects us all. It kind of you kind of try to figure out, when you do step into the therapy field, you kind of ask yourself, well, hold on, I could have been diagnosed at like 6 with anxiety, but all they did was label me bad, you know? Like, you don't you start to look back, and even that experience of what we've been missing can be traumatic, but it's definitely something that needs to be understood and taken into account. Because also, heard Kima say that, they had to even fight to get being even considered to have a psychology program at a HBCU, where it's definitely needed. But also, it's like people are running around thinking that these kids in these underserved communities are just bad and they'll never amount to anything. And then you have teachers looking at them like that and not understanding that, no, let's ask why this kid is sleeping in my class. Let's ask why this kid is having angry outbursts. Let's ask why this kid is always eating in my class. We don't get that like the others do. So it's very important that, I'm not going to say that you can't, if you're not, if you are white, that you can't see a black person, but really, really, really take into account their experience. And not only will that black person or that person of color come into your office with maybe depression or anxiety or whatever type of trauma, they have to also deal with the trauma of being black too. And that trauma of being black
Mm-hmm.
is not a PTSD thing, it's a right now thing. So that it
Did you see how they played that out on This Is Us?
yes,
That
yes, yes.
that Randall, he started off with the white
Spoiler,
therapist,
spoiler
and and that was,
alert.
yep, and that was good, because
Yes.
that was, I mean, that was introduction, like saying, okay,
Right.
he actually finally accepted coming to therapy, because that was a big feat, him being
Mhm.
black and actually saying, okay, I need
Mhm.
therapy.
Yeah.
That was the first step for him to
Mhm.
say, I'm accepting. I need counseling, because
Right.
it took forever for Beth to get through to him,
Mm-hmm.
for him to accept it. And then once he accepted counseling from the white person, it took for him to say, okay, now I need counseling from somebody that looked like me.
Right, right. Especially if they're constantly having to explain. So I'm also
Mm-hmm.
saying if you are gonna, because the truth is the truth. There's more white therapists than any other cultural therapist right now. So if you do have a black client, I would say do your research so they don't have to constantly explain to you, because sometimes
Mm-hmm.
it is good to hear from somebody that identifies or has the genetic makeup of your oppressor, that what is happening to you is wrong. you know
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes that is is very needed and is very helpful, but it's not taught in the books. It just isn't. So we can't just assume that it is a one size fit all. In our diagnostic manual is based off of cisgendered white men. It does not take into account women, let alone any other culture, as far as
Mm-hmm.
diagnosing somebody with mental illness. It just doesn't. So we have to do our part as clinicians to better serve the people that we have come into our office, that may have these issues that we can't necessarily identify with. um but yeah, Kima, like, I'm very happy to have you, because, well, you did it first. You was in behavior analysis, because I got my undergrad in theater and dance. We went to the same school, and my thing was, I'm gonna do what makes me happy. And psychology was always on the back end, like later on in life, because number one, I hate school. And when I was in high school and they said, oh, if you want to be a therapist, you gotta be in school for 7 years, I was like, nope, I don't even want to go to school. Okay. But you know um I think, just like chemo, we also have to do our own work, because even when she brought up the
Mm-hmm.
whole, the therapy thing and the Reiki thing, she's not going to tell you to do something that you wouldn't do, you know? And I think that just shows how great and invested of a clinician that she is, to be willing to put herself through it, you know? Um and not just say, okay, I'm just going to collect your money and tell you to do it. No, I'm going to make
Mm-hmm.
sure that I'm doing my my work to heal as well, which is awesome.
Exactly. That's why I'm like, I'm trying to make sure I'm healed all across everything. And I'm as educated and informed about everything. So I'm about reaching people where they are. So
Mhm.
whether it's um, working on my degree in clinical mental health, certified life coach, and certified Reiki practitioner,
Mhm.
where do you need your healing to come from?
Yes, I got you. Got you. Well invested.
Wherever you need your healing to come from, I'm available.
Yes, ma'am.
I will meet you at the level that you need. And trust me, I've been through all of it, because I'm not going to say that I can, that I'm going to just help you and not been through all of it, because I've been through counseling, life coaching, and Reiki myself, so
Mhm.
that I know I can help you in all three of those things that I've had experience in myself,
Yes.
especially us as a race of Black people. We have so much to heal from just
Mhm.
waking up every morning and walking
Yes.
around every day.
Oh, yes.
It's just so much
It
that
is.
we have to heal from,
It is definitely
and
a whole lot.
and how we process things. And I just want to be available the best of my abilities to help us process everything that we're going through, and push us to be our best selves at any one of those outlets that I feel like people need to be met where they are, and help them. whichever way that I can, in the way that they need to be helped in any one of those avenues, because all of them have helped me
Mm-hmm.
in various stages of my life.
Yes. And this is how she keeps going with a toe up uterus, allergies. And she's able to do a million and one things, but she also has identified the things that recharge her,
Mhm.
right? We could have another show about black women and their ADHD. Okay, we can talk about that. That would be a whole nother episode that would have to invite some of our friends on to talk about. But the kicker is she is also taking care of herself mentally, emotionally, and physically. Okay, so you cannot continue to do the superwoman things, right? Without taking care of yourself and putting your health, your mental health, your physical health, your spiritual health, okay? Um in as a priority. You cannot. So, before we close, um I want you to leave the people with what you tell yourself when you feel like giving up.
I have to tell myself a million things.
Tell us some of it. Tell us some of it.
Because when I feel like giving up, um, it's hard to come back from. Because I will say that,
Mm-hmm.
um, because it's hard. I'm not going to sit here and say I've had the best life ever. That I've just been, you know, walking through golden gates and rainbows. I have not. So me feeling like giving up, that means it's stuff just been piled up. So to keep myself going, I have to remind myself that I came a long way.
Mm-hmm.
I have to remind myself that I know what the bottom already looks like. It's like you've already been down. That I've came that I've done a lot. I've pushed through
Mm-hmm.
a lot. That I can do a lot. Um, One thing that I did do, and I would encourage people to do, um, I have a journal that helped me, and this is probably the single most thing that probably saved me the most. Um, and let me read it so I can make sure that I get it correct. My journal helped me to recap everything
Mm-hmm.
that I go through to help me stay grateful, um, and to help me with my little reminders. So each month and at the end of every year, which at the end of the year, December, I did. But at the end of every month, my journal has a reflection. And at the end of every month, I write, it says, celebrate my top 10 achievements. I may not have 10, but I try to list as many as I can. And then it asks, what did I learn this month? And then it has, what were any distractions or mental blocks or fears? And then, how did I make myself feel good? What did not happen and why not? And then, what actions can I take to improve? And then it asks people I learn from and who inspire me. And usually, filling out that part of my journal kind of helps me reconsider things to get myself back together for the next month. It literally helps me to kind of refocus myself because it is things to show me that I have things to be grateful for. It shows me that I did accomplish things, no matter how big or small. It shows me that if I didn't do anything to make myself feel good, why not? Or if I did, then it's like, oh, okay, if I did do something to make myself feel good, then I need to go back and remember that I have things, I have coping skills to help myself feel good. Then I need to implement that and see what happens.
Mhm.
If I write what didn't happen, then I need to go back and figure out how do I need fix that so I can redo it the next month. What distracted me that month before so that I don't let it distract me again? Who did I learn from? And what did I learn from that person? And what can I do with that knowledge? If I learn from that person, what can I take from the person that inspired me?
Mhm.
And if you learn from that person, why are you sad if somebody gave you something to learn from that? What are you upset about? And especially if you achieve something that month, it's like once you walk yourself through those steps, you've given yourself a reason to pull yourself out of the hole after that.
Mhm.
Um, I would advise anybody to get a journal that has prompts in it to help them write, not just a blank journal. If you don't get yourself a law of attraction planner, then get some kind of a journal that have prompts
Mhm.
so that you can walk yourself through stages of planning, goal setting, and gratitude,
Yes.
and some type of something to help you meditate and breathing exercises and positive influences and self-care. That's probably the biggest thing
Mhm.
at the end of the day, because if you don't have something to pull yourself up with some self-care, you're gonna drown. And um, definitely balancing your chakras, cleansing your aura is a part of your self care and your mental and emotional health.
Mhm.
Um, because you will drown if you don't think about stuff like that. You will. Your self care is a part of that,
Mhm.
and but you can. And being busy, you need to put self care on your list of being busy. That is work.
Yep.
You have to put it on your work list. Self care. That is part of my work now.
All right.
Schedule in self care.
Yep. Beautiful. All right, sis. So that was awesome. Definitely, definitely. When I feel like giving up, this who I call to remind me when I'm reminded about her story. Even if I don't call, I just think about her and all she's been through. And it's okay to do that. Okay, it's okay to listen to other people's stories that may have, a bit more hardship so that you can be inspired. It's okay to have, friends and a support system that when you forget what you've been through, they can remind you, that you can accomplish this goal that you're trying to attain. So
And vice versa.
yes, definitely, and vice versa. Definitely and vice versa. So go ahead and tell the people where they can find you, sis.
Um, Follow me on Instagram at game underscore of underscore RHOS. I am on Facebook at Kima K Bly, that's Bly. And I just joined Clubhouse at KBLY underscore two, trying to have a little fun with that.
Yes.
And please join my Fifth Wall pages,
Mm-hmm.
which is at VTHWALL, Fifth Wall, with Roman numeral 5. So look out for all of my stuff on social media. Um, Please continue to listen to the Live and Be Great podcast. Very inspirational stuff. I use it when I need to pick me up. because I often need those because all of the 50 million things I do, I get bogged down too. And I'm a bit of an empath. So being a sponge, I pick up a lot of other stuff that I just don't need. And I have to listen to Live and Be Great to get myself together. So thank you, Tanya, for having me
Of
on.
course.
And thank you for continuing to do this podcast to uplift people.
Yes. Thank you, sis. I appreciate that. Um, but yeah, please be sure to follow her. She also has a show called Horror in Huge for those horror fans. And you'll
Yes.
be able to see
Facebook
all of
group is
that
Horror and
information.
Hooch too.
Yes. You'll be able to
Yes.
see all the information on Facebook. And if you follow the Fifth Wall, you can see all the projects
Mm-hmm.
she has. Fifth Wall is her multimedia company. They have comic books, they have, a series coming out. they they have a lot of things,
Keep up.
okay?
A lot of things. A lot
Yes,
of things.
their podcast. You can watch their live shows if you follow them on Instagram and on Facebook. You can definitely catch them when they're live and interact with them that way as well. And also on YouTube, Horror and Hooch, under the
Mhm.
Fifth
Season
Wall
three
Company.
starting next month.
Yes. I'm excited about that. Okay, so um I hope you guys have enjoyed, okay, this episode, and don't forget to live and be great. Bye guys. The Live and Be Great podcast will be airing every other Friday. If you have truly enjoyed this podcast, thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for giving Live and Be Great a chance. Please feel free to share, like, give a review, subscribe on whichever platform that you're listening to right now, on iTunes or Apple Podcast, Spotify, Anchor, as well as Google Play. The Live and Be Great podcast is strictly crowdfunded, so if you are interested in becoming a supporter, you can click the link in the description, or you can go to liveandbegreat.com and scroll to the bottom and donate to the Live and Be Great podcast today, so I can continue to give you good and motivational content. Thank you all for listening, and don't forget to give yourself permission to live and be great. You made it to the end. Thank you so much for tuning into my YouTube channel, Live and Be Great. This channel will produce content that is both podcast and on-screen style. So if you're interested and you enjoyed today's show, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. See you soon.